Alright, in this problem, notice on problem 43, it says the graphs of line K1 and K2 are shown on a grid. Which system of equation is best represented by this graph? So first of all, what you're really looking at, the solution to this graph is where they cross here. So that's an important point. That's a point that'll make both these equations true. And it wants to know which system best matches it. Now the problem is these are not set in what we call slope-intercept form. So that means they're going to be hard to graph. Now you can manipulate these equations by hand, but that's pretty difficult. And so if you want to manipulate it by hand, you can. Solve it for y. Put it in the format of y equals mx plus b for each equation. So you'll have to do it for that one and that one. And then you just go ahead and put them in a calculator and graph it and see if the picture looks like this. Now there is an easier way in my opinion, and that's the way that I'm going to focus on showing you right now. So what I would do, if I have one like this, I would try to figure out where this point of intersection is. And then we can use our calculator to solve these systems of equations and find that particular point of intersection, which is the solution. So I'm going to put an arrow there and I'm going to write solution. Now if I try to look at this, notice it doesn't quite go to 2. It goes over at 1, 2, but it's really close to 2. So I'm going to say that my x value, because I'm going to write an x and y value. Now I'm going to say my x value is really close to 2. It's a little bit before 2, because there's that line for 2. So I'm going to say maybe 1.75. And my y value looks like it's a little bit above 3. So if you look right here, it's a little bit on top of 3. So I don't know, maybe about 3.1, 3.2, something like that. So that's my x value, and that's my y value. So what I want to do is I want to find the system of equation that actually gives me an x value that's close to 1.75 and close to 3.1. And that's just a guesstimation. I might not have the numbers very accurate, but I'll find something that's close to it, and that's going to be the correct answer. So let's go ahead and on this problem, let's start with J. J looks really easy to put in. I'm going to start with J and I'll work my way up to F. So let me show you what that looks like when we put these in a calculator. Now I'm going to start with this one. We'll put both equations in and we'll solve it with the calculator. And then we'll do the next one and the next one and the next one until we find the one that has a point that's close to 1.75 and 3.1. Now to use the calculator to solve a system of equation, I'm going to go ahead and hit enter on calculate. And once I get in here, I'm going to hit the menu button. I'm going to go down to algebra just like if we were doing numerical solve, but instead of numerical solve, we're going to go to option 2, which is solve system of linear equations. And we're going to left click. Now it asks you how many equations it has, and in algebra 1 we always just have 2 equations. So we're going to hit OK. And now we just type it in here. So for instance on J, that top equation was x plus y equals 10. So I'm just going to type in x plus y is equal to 10. And then the second equation underneath it on J was 9x plus 4y equals 13. And I'm just getting this off of your paper. So I'm looking at answer choice J. So 9x plus 4y equals 13. Now that I got them in there, I'm going to hit enter. And it solves it for me. Notice it says x and y. So it's actually going to give me the x and y value for the point that both of these graphs intersect at. And notice it says negative 27 over 5. Now that doesn't tell me what point it is, right? It doesn't give me, in other words, it doesn't give me a decimal value. It gives me a fractional value. But I can convert that. If you don't know what that is, you can just put it in a calculator. So negative 27 over 5. And that tells me that, oh, you know what? I thought I put the decimal. I didn't. Let me put a decimal. You do have to put a decimal after one of the numbers, either the numerator or denominator. And it tells me it's negative 5.4. Now negative 5.4 is nowhere near the x value of 1.75. In other words, if I went back to the paper, it's nowhere near where those two lines intersect. So since that x value is wrong, I'm not even going to worry about checking y. I'm just going to move into the next problem, the next answer choice, which is h. So let me put h in there. So I'm going to go back, hit menu again, go down to algebra, click to the right, Go down to solve system of linear equations, hit enter, hit OK. Yes, it has two equations. And let me put the top equation in. And for h, it's x minus 3y. So I'm going to put x minus 3y. And then equals negative 18. And for the equation on the bottom, for h, it's 9x plus 4. And 9x plus 4y equals 9. And I'm going to hit enter. Notice it gives me negative 45 over 31. Once again, I notice this is a negative value, which means that my point would be on the left side of the y-axis. So I know this is wrong, because that even just being negative tells me that it's wrong, because we had a positive 1.75. So we can go check G. So let me put G in. Menu, algebra, solve system of linear equations. Let me hit OK first. There we go. 3x and then minus y. So minus y equals 6. And for the second equation, we had 4x plus 9y equals 4. And I'm going to hit enter. Now, we do have a positive number here, 58 over 31, but then it has a negative number for the y value. But my y value is not negative. My y value is a positive 3.1. So there's no way that this is going to be it. So I'm not even going to convert it, because I see that this is negative, and I know that my x value and my y value should both be positive. I'm going to go ahead and check the next one. So let's check f. So menu, go down to algebra, and solve system of linear equations, hit enter. Yes, we have two equations. And this one is going to be 3x minus y equals 2. And we'll put in the next equation, 4x plus 9y equals 36. And I'll hit enter. And now I have a positive and a positive. So I am going to convert these and see, does it give me 1.75 and 3.1? So let me convert the first one. So the first one we had 54 over 31. Put a decimal after it. Okay, and it's really close to 1.75, 1.74. And I'm going to try the next one now. For my y value, this second value here, I got 100 over 31. And that's real close to 3.1. It says 3.22. So let's write these down as an ordered pair, and you'll see how they're really close to what we got originally. So the ordered pair we got from the calculator, I'm going to write the word calculator right here. For x, we got 1.74. And for y, we got 3.22. And notice, this is really close to what we had here. They almost match. So I was a little bit off, but I was guesstimating. And so I know for a fact that f has to be the correct answer, because these all had negative values in them, which would either make my graph point be over on the left side, or on that last one we did, the y value was negative, so it would have been down here at the bottom.